Excellent! Say what again?
For a long time now, I've been wanting to look back at various films I feel are worth talking about. The Wizard of Oz seems like a good one to start with because it's everyone's first exposure to truly classic film and has been going strong for decades. Its legacy has held on throughout the years with constant retellings, a dark sequel, a terrible prequel, parodies, arcade machines, and more, but nothing has managed to escape the gigantic shadow left by the 1939 film. Dorothy is a teenage farm girl from Kansas. One day, a twister comes by, which whisks her and her dog Toto away to the land of Oz. Here, she embarks on a journey to find a way home. Along the way, she's joined by the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. Each of them has their own goal and wish to ask the great and powerful Wizard of Oz to help them achieve it.
I am Oz, the great and powerful.
There isn't much to say about this film that hasn't already been said, which is honestly the best way to describe it. The Wizard of Oz has stood the test of time for over 80 years at this point and is a very well-respected film, and rightfully so, as this is just one of those movies that's been preserved in pop culture forever. Just to name a few things, even if you haven't seen it, everyone knows about the ruby slippers, the tornado, the memorable cast of characters, and plenty of famous quotes.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
All of the songs have been engraved in people's minds for almost a century now, and the one scene where it transitions to color is possibly the most iconic visual in film history, right alongside that image of Emerald City in the distance. The art of classic filmmaking is forever preserved in this movie. The cinematography is very simple yet effective. A lot of the shots and camera movements could be seen as basic compared to modern cinema, but given the movie's age, I have no doubt this was very impressive for the time. The sets are fantastic. There's something about a golden age film set that makes things look like a whole new world. Each scene is lovingly built from the ground up and brought to life through practical models, props, and beautiful matte paintings. Every set is filled with color, which takes full advantage of the then new color film, and still looks incredibly vibrant no matter what version you're watching. Even though you know it's not real, you can't help but want to explore the different scenes. Places like the Emerald City look like such fun locations to walk around in, not unlike a land at a theme park. Speaking of Emerald City, isn't it kind of weird that the whole city has a doorbell?
Who rang that bell? We did.
Now, not everything is perfect. To nitpick a little bit, there are some things carried over from the golden age of Hollywood that haven't aged too well. There are some sound mixing issues that make the audio a little bit poor at times.
Dorothy, please, we're trying to count.
Oh, but Aunt Em, she hit over
Don't bother us now.
The Lion also has a song in the Emerald City scene that clearly seems like filler and honestly is a little bit trash compared to the rest of the soundtrack.
Nut.
A lot of older movies had this trend of just taking a break for a song or dance sequence to fill some time, and it's often a hit or miss. These small issues are not much of a detriment to this film though, but more so a time capsule of how things were in a different era. Other than the general filmmaking, the actors and characters have certainly stood the test of time and have transcended the movie itself as pop culture icons. The acting is very well done. It's hard to forget Judy Garland's portrayal of Dorothy with her kindness to all she meets and iconic singing voice. Personally, I've always really liked the Scarecrow and Tin Man. They have great chemistry, with the Scarecrow ironically being somewhat of a smartass.
How can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know. But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
And the Tin Man being a little sassier.
That's ridiculous. Spooks. That's silly.
The whole cast, from the main heroes to the witch herself, also have really well done makeup and costumes. It's nothing too crazy by later film standards, but it still holds up today. Again, simple, but effective. The Scarecrow is my personal favorite, and Ray Bolger is an incredible physical actor. The physical acting from everyone is great. I love when the Cowardly Lion jumps out the window. Everything about that... I can't think about it without laughing. Everything about that is absolutely hilarious, but the Scarecrow is the standout. Bulger does such a great job during the whole movie, it's like he's actually made out of straw. And by the way, I do feel like it's worth mentioning that the Scarecrow is the only character that comes strapped. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, so when the group goes to face off against the Wicked Witch, they're bringing things like a giant wrench or a butterfly net, but the Scarecrow has a gun. Yes, a gun! Where did he get it? Did he have it this whole time? This man was really ready to straight up shoot the Wicked Witch. It's never seen again after this scene, and he never fires it, but I need more information on the Scarecrow's gun. There are plenty of little moments like this in the film if you look hard enough. It's another example of a bygone era of cinema where film was very expensive and it wasn't always possible to do reshoots or extra takes if something wasn't perfect or just for the sake of continuity. There's this one bit where the lion comes very close to just stomping out Toto, and of course there's the infamous hanging munchkin. Now, to go off on a small tangent, for those that do not know, the Hanging Munchkin is a dark urban legend where people believe that in the background of this shot, you can see one of the Munchkin actors hanging themselves. Now, if you go into it with only that context, maybe you can trick yourself into thinking that, but it's false. It's a bird stretching its wings. Now, if you pay attention to the background, you can see some crane-like birds around the set during this scene. If you look closely at the shot in question, even on this low-definition copy I'm using, you can vaguely make out the shape of one of those birds standing straight on toward the camera and stretch itself out. There's no dead body here. You know, speaking of munchkins, can you imagine being the tallest munchkin? How about being the shortest? That shit must be wild. Anyway, The Wizard of Oz is an absolutely legendary piece of cinema that has stuck with us for almost 100 years. I would like to mention that the release I watched and used for this video was the 1989 VHS tape released for the movie's 50th anniversary.
In celebration of the 50th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz, MGM-UA Home Video proudly presents a special collector's supplement to the classic motion picture. This unique compilation includes rare footage specially presented for your enjoyment.
While admittedly not the most ideal form of viewing in terms of quality, the release itself has a beautiful box and an attached behind-the-scenes booklet. Just look at the artwork on it. It just goes to show this movie's staying power that the prestigious 50th anniversary release has already celebrated its own 30th anniversary, and here I am talking about it in 2022. The movie has themes that can be enjoyed and understood by all ages, making it a perfect introduction to classic cinema for any viewer. It's a timeless tale of not only appreciating what you have, but sometimes what you want most is within you the whole time. In the case of Dorothy's three companions, they want a brain, a heart, and courage. However, during the course of the film, the Scarecrow proves himself smart, the Tin Man loving, and the Cowardly Lion brave. On the other hand, Dorothy wants to go home, which she could just do the entire time. But if she did it from the start, she wouldn't have gone on this fantastical adventure, showing the value of escapism from everyday life. But in the end, whether it's real life or the movies, The Wizard of Oz reminds us that there's no place like home. Hey there everyone, thank you very much for watching the very first episode of Joe's Drive-In. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I've been planning it for a very long time as well. And finally, I've been able to get it off the ground. It has taken a lot of work and a lot of time for me to finally work up, well, the courage to release this review of Wizard of Oz to hopefully start off a long line of throwbacks to various movies, past and present, good and bad. It's all sorts of stuff that I'd like to do. If you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and if you feel like supporting me a little bit more, you can of course always follow the link to support me on Patreon. It'll keep me going. I really appreciate the support, and I hope to see you guys next time in Joe's Drive-In.